all able to see my
Recording
screen? Can you all see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I will do the same thing what you all did yesterday. So we can use the Salesforce org for learning the admin. Okay. So to do that, I'm going to sign up in developer. So I'm going to create one Salesforce developer org. Okay. For myself. And I'm sure you guys have done this yesterday. So I'm just going to do it now. So we can use this org for designing our application. I'm just going to give any company name. Okay, TCS. I'm going to select country as India, postal code 0004. Okay. So I'm giving the username apoorva.sfdc@webshala.com. Okay. So I can create many accounts with the same email, but I cannot have the same username. So what is the next step after creating this? I'm going to get an email for verification. Mm, I'm not sure why I got this message. Okay, usually you can create many accounts with the same thing. So give me one moment. We may get an email. So let's wait for the email to come in. Okay. So meanwhile, I just want to discuss about let me get the verification code, and meanwhile, we will learn about the different types of orgs today. So basically, whenever you start learning Salesforce, you have to know these keywords: instance, org, slash, environment. So all these are the same. Okay. Instance, org. I think, guys, you guys have to go on mute. Okay. So these keywords are nothing but the same: org, instance, environment. So I'm going to keep using the same words throughout the course. So if I say login to Salesforce instance, Salesforce org, Salesforce environment, all this means the same. Now there are three types of instances. One is the developer instance, sandbox instance or environment, and production environment. So any idea what are the differences between these three? Hmm?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So developer is what we are creating now. It's a free org, and this is not used in any company. Okay, like you will not be working with a developer org in your future organizations when you join Salesforce, right? When you join or you get a job in a new company, you will not be working in this particular org. Okay, this is just for our learning purpose. We are using the developer org, but you must understand that the developer org is like a replica of the sandbox in production, right? So when you work in a company, you will see exactly what you see in this developer org as well. And this is what we're going to be using throughout the course. Okay. Now, when you join an organization, you will work with the sandbox. Sandbox can be of different types. Okay. There are 4 types. So one is developer sandbox, one is developer pro sandbox, right? Then you have partial copy sandbox, then full copy sandbox. Okay. So depending upon how big your company is, they are going to purchase this particular environment. So if your company is a very, very small company, usually they will purchase developer. But if your company is very huge, right? So for instance, let's talk about Amazon. So Amazon is spread across the globe, right? They have Amazon India, USA, Germany, France, blah, blah, blah. So all these companies which are so huge may not purchase a small sandbox like developer or developer pro. They're going to go with something called as the full copy sandbox. Now as administrators, okay, you don't have to learn these sandboxes, but you need to know when you join the organization, you need to know at least what type of sandbox you are working on, right? Now if I just go in here, see, these are the sandboxes, right? Developer, developer pro, partial copy, and full copy. If you look here, the difference is only based on the storage, right? It's like you guys purchasing iPhone 14, 128 GB, 64 GB, 32 GB, 500 GB, and so on and so forth, right? So basically, these are the same sandboxes, but their limitations of carrying the data differ. Okay. Now you don't have to learn these differences. How, what is the storage for each sandbox? I mean, you don't have to learn. I would leave it to your personal interest if you want to know, at the tip of your tongues what these numbers are. But in interviews, they will not ask you what are the different types of sandbox, what is the storage, what is the difference. They're not going to ask you this. Okay. This is just for your knowledge, because when you're learning this course, remember, we are not going to work on a sandbox. We're going to work on a developer free org, right? And when you join the company, you will start working with the sandbox. Now, why do you work in a sandbox? Because whenever you develop something, you don't want to develop everything in a live environment, right? You want to develop something in like a test box. So sandbox is nothing like a test box. Okay. So you can develop, play around, do your own testing, and then say, okay, this application looks good, and then push it to something called as production. So production is nothing but your live system. Understanding the differences between these 3 environments? Any questions?
Just can you explain in short what is sandbox? What is the role
Sandbox is
model
a
of
testing
sandbox?
box.
Okay.
Sandbox is a testing box. So as a developer, as an administrator, you cannot develop and do all the configuration directly in a live environment, right? You need to first do it in like a test box and confirm that okay, it is working. Then only you will push it to production. So for instance, let's say you all use Swiggy, right? You all use Swiggy apps. You must be aware of Swiggy application, right?
Yes. Yes.
Now, if the backend team of Swiggy is going to keep on making constant updates on your Swiggy app, can you order the food? Can you do anything in the app? It's going to be so disturbing for an end user, right? if they keep on making changes as you're using the application, something is keeping on changing for you, then how you will order your food or order your items, right? So you cannot do directly any changes on a end customer application. Okay, so that's why whenever an application is developed in not only Salesforce but in any technology, right, they first develop it in a test box, and that test box in Salesforce is called as a sandbox, and there are different types of sandboxes, right? And depending upon the storage, the size of the companies will make decisions to purchase these types of sandboxes. Okay, and then yeah, you can do the testing, development and everything, and then push all your changes to production. Okay,
Okay.
are you all clear with the types of environments that we're going to deal with in Salesforce?
Yes.
Okay. So to log into developer box, you will be using a URL called login.salesforce.com. Please make a note of this, because this is how you have to get into the system, right? So throughout this course, you'll be using login.salesforce.com, and you'll be entering your username and password and then go to your instance. But when you work in a company, you will be as an administrator, you will be building things in a sandbox. So you have to go to test.salesforce.com. Okay. And for production environments, the URL is again login.salesforce.com. Clear on this? What are the URLs you have to use for which environments?
Yes.
Okay. So now I got a verification code. Okay. I created my org, right? So this is my username, and I've created a verification, this one. So I'll just copy this username and keep it. Okay. Now I'm going
Apoorva,
to,
your voice is continuously breaking.
is it breaking for everybody
Hello?
else? Or it's just breaking
Yes,
for,
Apoorva.
hello?
Your voice is audible.
Okay. Is it breaking for anybody else?
For me as well, Apoorva.
I didn't get it. Like, am I breaking or am I okay?
You are audible to me.
So might be possible there is a network connection with my system. No issues. Let me check.
Okay. Let me try to speak here. Am I audible? Is it better? Can everybody hear me? Am I still
Yeah,
breaking?
it's perfect now.
Okay, good. I hope the screen is visible.
Yes.
Okay, so once you create your instance, okay, you're going to get a verification link. And like I've told you yesterday, do not click on this URL. You have to always click on this button, verify account. Okay, and yeah, you will click on this and you're going to be loaded on the password generation page. So I'm going to enter a password following all the instructions. Okay, so I've created my credentials. Okay, So basically, this is your setup. That means this is the lightning version of Salesforce environment. This is how you can see the look and feel. Whoever attended my sessions yesterday and day before, I have explained you the difference between classic and lightning. So this page, what you're seeing on the screen currently is lightning. I can always go back and switch back to classic. In order to switch back to classic, you see the avatar on the top right. I clicked on that and you can click on switch to classic. So this is classic. So can you see the difference between how classic looks versus lightning looks? Yesterday we spoke about one of the difference to be UI, right? Like the UI is more user friendly on lightning than on classic. That's what we told yesterday in the differences, right? Am I still breaking?
No.
Okay. So yeah, this is the difference in the look and feel. What we are going to keep learning in this course is not from this page. I'm always going to be doing things on the lightning version of Salesforce because classic is almost getting outdated. No companies hereafter will try to build anything in classic, right? They want to upgrade themselves from classic to lightning. So I do not want to teach anything that is getting outdated. Okay. Hence, we'll be touching things on lightning, and this is how your lightning page looks. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is open the document. Okay. So today we're going to cover certain topics. One topic that I would like to cover today, I'm going to go slow the first three classes, okay, and then we can definitely speed up from there on, because I'm not sure how many others would be joining us to the sessions. So yeah, we'll go a bit slow, and please ask as many questions as you can, because the way we're going to learn the way we are going to learn this entire structure is divided into many halves. The first, we are going to cover basic admin. Okay. After basic admin, we will cover the security. Okay. Data security, metadata security. We're going to cover these. Then we'll cover automation. Then we'll cover data loading, which will have reports, dashboards, and tools to load data. Okay. Tools to load data. That's how I look at this entire curriculum. Completing these four main topics means you are a Salesforce administrator. Okay. So here we have many topics, basic understanding, relationship, record types, blah, blah, blah. I hope you all have gone through this topic before from the website. If you've not gone through it, you can go to our website and look at the syllabus, or I can also share the syllabus to you all in the chat WhatsApp group. Okay. But the main topics that we will be covering are, I want to chunk them into four halves, right? The basic admin, the security, automation, and data loading. Why we're learning it in four halves? Because in an interview, if you go for an admin role, that's how they're going to cover based on the percentage, right? So they're going to ask you 20% basic admin, 20% of security questions, 20% of the automation and data load, the pending one. So we'll try to learn it like this, right? Any questions on the syllabus before I get started with the topic number one? which is for today, I will be covering application creation. Are we all good?
Yeah.
All right. So basically, okay. AJ, I think you're trying to draw something on my screen. Anyways, are you trying to say something? You want to ask any question? I don't know. Okay. Yeah, if there's no questions, I'm going to go to the Salesforce screen again. Now, the first thing, I think you have to get rid of this, I don't know. How do you erase this? Okay. All right. Yeah. So whenever you log into your Salesforce environment, you have to start observing closely on what all you see on the screen. Okay. So when you log into the Salesforce, you land on the setup page as administrators. Okay. And the top left, what you see, the 9 dots. I like to call it waffle icon, but in Salesforce, they call it as an app launcher. Okay. So this is a place where you can launch all your applications. So once you create an application, if you want to access that application, you go to the app launcher, which is on the top left. Okay. Now Salesforce is a SaaS platform, right? We've learned that in our first session that it is providing certain CRM features. So here, if you see, these are the CRM features, right? If I go to the app launcher, Salesforce has already created certain apps for us. So if you look at the sales app, right, this is one of the standard applications that Salesforce is providing. And it is telling that, look, we already have certain objects like accounts, contacts, leads, opportunity. So all these are tables. Okay. All you need to do is click on this and enter the data, right? You click on new, right? And you start creating the records, right? You enter the lead, first name, last name, save, right? So it's providing a seamless experience already for the sales users by giving a sales application. Okay. But what happens is when you work in a company, they don't want to use some standard app, right? They want to create their own custom app having their own tables and own look and feel to the pages. Okay. So that's the reason people go for administrators, right? They look for admins who can customize their whole business model. So what we are going to do is we're going to come up with a use case as part of this learning session where we want to build an application for a product based company. Okay. So let's try to fabricate a story, right? Like let's assume that there is a product based company which sells phones, right? They have different brands of phones, right? Like they have like iPhone and MI, then Vivo and all that, right? They have different brands of phones. And what this company wants to do is they want to maintain their products information, they want to maintain their staff info, their customer info, right? And they also want to maintain information of new hires because they want to keep hiring people for sales, for marketing and all that, right? So they want to hire, they want to keep information of all this. Now this is my requirement. So with this requirement, can I use a sales application, right, which is provided already by Salesforce? Well, I can use it, but the problem is they want to have names like this, right? Like they want to have a table called staff, they want to have a table called customer, new hire. So all this is not present in out of box CRM feature by default, right? So as an administrator, I need to build this application. So what is the first step? How do I build an application, right? if I'm doing any admin work, okay, remember this going forward in the course, if I'm doing any admin activity, the step number 1 always would be to go to setup. Okay, and this is the setup box. As you see on the top right, there is a, what do you call, wheel like icon, and I click on this and I should click on setup. Okay, once I click on setup, you will see a different view. This view is different, right? Sales, this is an application basically, right? But this view is different. Why is it different? Because when you want to do admin activity, like I told, you always have to go to setup. Okay, but as an end user, if you want to launch an application, then you need to go to this view, right? Like where you can launch apps from the app launcher. Getting my point? Any questions here? I want you guys to speak as well or respond over the text, because I don't want to feel alone or like I'm talking to the wall. Can you all please respond?
No questions so far.
Okay. So that is great. Now we will create an application. So what do we do first to create an application? Where should I
Go
go?
to setup.
Correct. So we click on setup, and the next thing is you find something called as quick find. Okay, so now you guys have to understand the difference between the two search boxes here, right? So there is something called as a global search, which is on the top, and there is a search box on the left. Okay, what is the difference between these two boxes? Well, so let's try to understand that before we create the app. So have you guys heard of this key term data and metadata? Can anybody tell me what
Yes.
is the difference between data and metadata?
Data is just information, and metadata, it includes data services.
Okay, the first part is correct. Data is nothing but information. It's like rows, correct? But what is metadata? I was not sure.
Metadata is a detailed view of that particular data.
Okay, very good. So to explain that better, right? So if you're seeing my screen, this is an Excel file. Okay, just ignore what the information is here, but I'm trying to explain you what is data and metadata. Okay, so the Excel file here has something called as rows and columns, right? So all the rows that you're seeing here, like this QA in progress, development in progress, all this is data, which is information, like somebody said in the call, right? But in this file, if I tell you to identify what is metadata, can you spot it? Because there is metadata in this file. So the
Comment
metadata,
section.
sorry,
Comment section.
comment section. No, this is also data, right? So comments are also data, scope is also data. All this is data here. So the metadata is nothing but columns. Getting my point? Column is a metadata. You see here, there's a page layout, there's insert, there's home, there are tabs over here, right? Gosh, hold on. Yeah, you see there are tabs. I can create many tabs here, correct? So these are metadata. So the skeleton of the data becomes metadata. Understanding what is the difference here? Or no? I cannot proceed if you guys don't tell me if you understood or not. Okay. So data is information. Metadata is nothing but the columns, the skeleton of the data, right? Like the table, the fields, the workflows, the charts, the shapes, icons, whatever you see here is all metadata. Okay. Now going back to Salesforce, these things that you see here, right? Like the setup, the home page, the object manager, all these information, all that is metadata. Okay. Data is nothing but this, right? I have a table called leads, and if I create a lead called Apoorva, right? If I create a data called Apoorva, okay, now Apoorva becomes the data, okay, but this lead is a table, right? So that's the metadata. This name, title, company, phone, all these are columns, right? So columns that you see here are all metadata. Getting clearly the difference in Salesforce, what is data and metadata?
Yes.
Right. So now why are we talking so much about data and metadata? Because in this search box, right, there is a quick find box and there is a global search box. Okay. So if you want to search data here in the quick find box and I say Apoorva, I will not find Apoorva here. Okay. Because this quick find is to search metadata only. So what is metadata? Like application is a metadata. So if I want to create an application, I need to go to the quick find. But now I want to search a data or a record or an information called Apoorva. So I can search that from the global search here. You see, there's data. Okay. So the difference between these two boxes, you understood what is the search, global search, what is the quick find search?
Yes.
Okay. So let's proceed with creating an application then. I am going to create an app, and what is the use case? Can one of you summarize what application are we creating?
For the product-based company, the company who sells mobile phones.
Correct. So company is wanting to sell mobile phones. They want to maintain information of their products, their staff, the customers, the new hires, and all of that. So we want to build a use case around this product based company. Okay. So we have to first build an application for them. Okay. Usually the application name will be kind of like the company name, or probably it's like, you should get creative here as administrator on what name you want to give for this application. So we can just give some name here, like you guys want to give some suggestions. What is the application name you want to create? It doesn't matter, but yeah, I want us to be creative as administrators. So because in business requirements, they will not tell you what is the exact name. You need to come up with it and give some suggestions as admins. Okay. Any idea what name you want to give? Okay, let's just call it like iTech, right? Like iTech. iTech. All right. So I'm going to call it iTech management. This is the name of the application. Okay. So to create an application, I go to the quick find and I go to the app manager. These are the steps. You can make a note of it or you can refer to the recordings. Quick find, app manager. Come on. Okay. So once you go to the app manager, you can actually see a list of apps already available. Okay, sorry, I didn't see if you guys gave some names here. All right. So here you see there are standard apps, okay, that are already available. But what we want to do is create a custom app. And in order to create that, on the top right, you see there's a new Lightning app. So the Lightning app name, I'm just going to give it what we decided, iTech. Okay. So what is the difference between app name and developer name? So app name is something the user sees upfront, right? With the whatever is visible on the screen, that is the app name. Okay, the developer name is nothing but API name. API stands for Application Programming Interface name, which means it's a backend name. Okay, so if you want to use this particular app in a code or a logic or somewhere, then you have to always go with the API or developer name, which is this. Description is what, it's a product based company, blah blah blah. So I'm just going to put this information. It's always good to give descriptions of what you create, because it's easier to understand in future, right? What is this app about? So it's a product, it's an application, right, to maintain information about this product based company that sells phones, right? Products, and maintain. Okay, and maintain all this info and maintain the below info. Okay, so this is the description. So tomorrow, if you're going back and looking at this app, right, you actually know why you've created this app. So please make it a good habit to give descriptions. The second thing is branding. Okay, so if you look behind my screen, right, there is a blue thin line, right, this blue color. So that is what you can change the color here by choosing whichever you want to. So for the sake of demo, I'm just going to choose a different color. Okay, so you guys can actually see. Okay, and this is the logo. So on the top left, you can see Salesforce logo. Okay, but now you can insert your own logo if you want. So I'll just see if there is a logo. Yeah, I didn't know there's something called iTech. I just came up with it and it happened to be there. So I'll just take this logo. I'll save it. What am I trying to do? I'm giving a branding for my application. So I will upload a logo. I just downloaded from Google. You all can also do the same. Or if you have any images, you can use that. Okay. So iTech done. Then next step, right? What is the next step? The next step is the navigation style. So as you see on my screen, this is what is called as a navigation bar, okay, where you see all the objects that are placed one next to another in the horizontal way. Okay, so here they're giving you an option. Do you want to place it in a standard way or in a console way? Standard is nothing but horizontal, like this. Okay, but console means vertical. So you will see tabs one below the other. Because you're able to see the standard, I will choose console so you can see the difference. Okay, I'm going to select console navigation. Then where all do you want this application to be visible? I want it to be present on desktop as well as mobile phone, right? If I use this app on mobile phone also, I want to use it. Remember yesterday we learned the difference between Classic and Lightning, and I told you that Lightning is mobile compatible. So this is what I was referring to, that you can build applications that can be used on mobile also. But Classic, you cannot do that. Okay. Then always select full setup, because it's going to include both the service as well as Sales Cloud features. So it's good to select setup. Okay. Next is disable end user personalization. I'm going to not select this because you see this pencil icon where you can personalize your navigation bar. So if you click on disable, right, then you will not see that pencil icon. Okay, so I do want to disable it, so I'm going to keep it as it is. Then clear workspace tabs for each console. No, I'm not going to select this too because I will lose all my temporary tabs otherwise. So I'm going to keep this too as it is. Then I'm going to do next. Okay, next is the utility items. Okay, so utility items, as you see in this image, once I create the app, at the bottom of the screen on the footer, you want to give some easy, what do you call, panels, right, for the salesperson. Remember, you're creating this application not for a customer. Okay, you're creating this application for sales users and service users. Even in future, when you join a company, you will be creating apps for sales users and service users or marketing users. You will not be creating for you know, like a direct end customer, right? When I say end customer, it's like, let's say, let's say I go to Webshala, right? So who is the end customer of Webshala? You and me, correct? So anybody can access Webshala and see this. But in Salesforce, it's not like that, right? Salesforce, we are building it only for sales and marketing and, you know, service cloud users and all of that. So when they use this app, they need a quick way to connect to customers, right? So how is it that we can make the experience more seamless for them? By giving some quick actions here, like make a phone call, you know, add some notes, set some reminders, you know, set some calendars. So if we do all these things, right, then it's easier for them to be able to connect to the customers. Okay, so you can select any utility items here. Like notes. Hold on, notes. Yeah, notes. For now, I'm just going to select notes and then I'll do next. Okay. Next, what all do you want your application to have, right? So basically, in simple terms, application is nothing but collection of objects, right? It's a collection of tables which has various features and gives you information about whatever you're looking for. That is what is an application, right? So what is an application without objects? It's nothing, right? So as part of this step, what you're seeing here, you have to select the objects. And what did we say we want here? We want to maintain customer information. So I will select contact. Then I want to maintain account, right? Then I want to maintain product information. So I can select product. If I want, I can select leads, right? Depends. It depends on the requirement. So I'm just going to select these basic ones for now. And we can add more if needed in the future throughout this course. Okay. So for now, I have added leads, contacts, accounts, products. And I'll do next. Okay, so workspace tabs is going to look like this. Then sub tabs of these are going to have more, right? So I will show you the difference and I'll select sub tabs of these and I'll do next. So remember, the person who has created this org, you guys are actually the system administrators. Okay, so you have various types of profiles in Salesforce. For now, please ignore this part because I'm going to cover this anyway as part of security. Okay, but for now, please know that you guys are system administrators. Okay, so you will have to make a selection here and say for the system admin, choose this application, right? Because if you don't select your profile here as system admin, then you cannot access this app. So make sure that you are selecting system administrator because you guys are system administrators. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So we completed 6 steps. Okay, just in 6 simple steps, your app is now ready. Okay, so let's hit save and finish. So I created the application. Now I want to launch the application. How do I see if the app is created or not? Can you guys tell me?
By name of the app, iTech.
Yeah, but how do I launch it? How do I see the app now? This is back end, no? Now I want to view the
Yeah.
app, right? See, you see here iTech is created. Yeah, you said let's search by iTech. So I spotted it, right? Now how do I access this application?
By
The quick
checking the
find.
app landscape.
Quick find.
Somebody said something before you.
App landscape.
Very good. So you're going to launch it from app launcher. Remember, I told you where all you launch
Yeah.
the apps. You launch it always from the app launcher. Okay. So you guys as administrators build the application. Now, the second step is to test the application, right? So whenever you build anything, you have to make sure you test it and ensure you have fulfilled the requirement, right? So as an end user, now I have to test it. How do I do that? Is I need to go to this view, right? App launcher view. And like you said, we have to search by the name, right? So I'm going to look for iTech. If not, I can also say view all. Okay. Either options are there. So when I say view all, you see one application has got created here, iTech. Okay. So let's see. What are the things you're observing that we did as part of the setup? Can you tell me what all you're observing? We did 6 steps, right?
Yes.
What all do you see as part of that 6 steps that we did here? What
Yeah.
was step number 1?
For creation app, we have to go setup first,
Hmm.
then quick find where we can find app manager.
Hmm.
And later on we have to go to, if we want to create our own app, we have to click on new lightning app.
Very good.
There we will have a multiple of option of choosing how we want to see our bar, uh, or standardize, or in a different way. We can set there, we can save the description of our particular app, why we are creating this app, and also edit a few details that if we want to edit in further or not, like two option which you left there while creating the app.
Yeah. So what are you observing here? I see Ashish told one correct thing, right? He's saying console navigation. So if you observe here in the standard app, there was tabs one next to another in horizontal way. Now you see, because we selected console navigation, the tabs are present one below the other, right? So that is one thing. What are the other things that you are seeing on this screen that we did as part of the setup? You all observed, right? The 6 steps that I did.
Yes.
What are
We
you observing here that I set up?
we also choose many multiple of easy bars, like notes and others are there.
So the first thing is we did the logo, right? You guys are not
Mm,
telling me that, right?
okay.
We gave the
Yeah.
name of the application. You see, this is the first thing that we did. We gave the name as iTech. Then we added logo, correct? So you see there's a logo. Yahan pe there was Salesforce logo. But now there's no Salesforce logo any longer, right? There is our logo that we created, our branding, right? Then what is the next thing? I chose yellow color, right? From blue color, I made it
Yeah.
yellow. So you see the yellow line here, right? Then I added tabs, correct? These were the tabs that I selected personally. And I said, let's give edit option here, correct? Because in the step, there was an option to remove the personalized icon, right? The edit button option removal was there, but I did not select that, right? Getting what I'm saying?
Yes.
Now I want to do some changes to this app. How do I go back? Where should I go? If I want to change something over here, maybe I want to change the name, update the color or something. What should I do? Where should I go? Again,
You have to go to app launcher first.
app launcher.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we have to find that particular app, iTech.
So we are there only, right?
Yeah.
What are we trying to do now?
We are
Update
trying
the
to
app.
edit. Yeah.
So if I have to update the app, what do I become? I become admin again, correct?
Yeah.
Yes, so this is correct. You need to go back to your setup, but you don't have to go to object manager, right? We're not creating any objects here. We are creating application. So to create an application, what did we do? Where did we go to create the app?
Setup,
Mm-hmm.
quick find app manager, new
Very
lightning
good.
app.
Very good. So you need to go to app manager if you want to edit any apps or create any apps. Okay.
Okay.
App launcher is only a place where you can view the apps, you can use the app like an end user. But as administrator, if you want to edit the app, you want to create the app, you should go to the app manager and spot your application. So here is your application. And now you can click on edit. Understanding this?
Yes.
Yeah. So now let me try to add one more. Okay. So I just want to go to utility. So we have added notes here, and in the navigation items, let me try to add home. And hit save. So this is how you can edit the app. Okay. So I've edited this. Now I can go back to my iTech and refresh my screen. Oops. Didn't I just save it? Okay. Back. Let me launch again. So from here also I can add the tab. Okay. Save. So this is basically the standard home page, okay, where you can see it. All right. So any questions on creating an app or editing an app, launching an app?
No.
Okay. So what you all can do is based on this particular information, right? A product-based company who sells phones, come up with your own app names. Okay. I call it iTech management. You guys can call whatever you want for your application names. Follow the 6 steps and keep the app ready for tomorrow's class. So in tomorrow's class, we will be, personalizing and customizing this app more with all our topics. Okay. So today we just did this basically. Creation of, I mean, we kind of understood what a standard app, and we created a custom app. Only one topic we did today. Okay. So I'll stop the recording. And you guys have any questions, you can ask me before we drop.